OPM, other people's money. PPFAs, property participation fee agreements, a type of contract which provides for a return or payment from the bank's customer, and which is linked to the value of the customer's assets. Risk-weighted assets, a criterion used to determine the minimum amount of capital that must be held by banks and other institutions to reduce the risk of insolvency. RMBS, residential mortgage-backed securities. SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, USA. TBTF, too big to fail. Introduction. Everyone wants to be like Goldman. In June 2016, in the wake of the fallen Gaddafi regime, the Libyan authorities sued Goldman Sachs for 9 trades the bank advised on and then executed for the Libyan Sovereign Wealth Fund between January and April 2008. The new Libyan government claimed that Goldman Sachs gained more than $200 million in profits from the trade, whereas the Libyans lost almost all their investment. It would transpire during court proceedings that Goldman paid for prostitutes, private jets, and 5-star hotels to win the business from a Libyan investment fund. Goldman's internal documents describe its Libyan clients as having 0 level of financial sophistication. The bank's documents advise that it is important you stay super close to clients on a daily basis. One Goldman Sachs employee describes how he delivered a pitch on structured leveraged loans to someone who lives in the middle of the desert with his camels. Libya lost the case. In October 2016, a high court judge in London found that the relationship between Goldman Sachs and the Libyan Investment Authority did not go beyond the normal cordial and mutually beneficial relationship that grows up between a bank and a client. In the judge's opinion, Goldman's fees in the disputed trades were not excessive given the nature of the trades and the work that had gone into winning them. In finance, everyone wants to be like Goldman. Having started in 1869 as a small brokerage firm, the company changed its name to Goldman Sachs in 1882. By the early 20th century, the firm had grown to become one of the greatest of American institutions, associated perhaps more than any other company with American power and financial prowess. Goldman continually tops the list of dream jobs for graduates. Goldman's alumni are among the highest-profile policymakers around the world. Throughout its history, the company has shown an extraordinary ability to adapt and to anticipate change. What makes Goldman Sachs so special? Asks Lisa Endlich in her best-selling book, Goldman Sachs, The Culture of Success. Endlich's answer reads like many of the hagiographies produced along the years. Goldman's success has to do with its unique culture, the culture of hard work. You must be able to give away many other things in your life if you are willing to succeed at GS. It's more like a lifestyle and a whole life career than just a job. In 2010, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, came up with a slightly different description of the culture of Goldman. The SEC charged Goldman and one of its vice presidents, VPs, with defrauding investors by misstating and omitting key facts about a financial product. The SEC alleged that Goldman Sachs had selected securities for their customers without disclosing an important piece of information. Specifically, that a hedge fund closely associated with Goldman, Paulson & Co., participated in the selection of the portfolio to be sold to clients only to bet against it. In other words, Goldman sold its customers securities it believed were going to fail. In the process, Goldman gained twice, while its customers lost twice. Goldman Sachs charged commission on brokerage and an advice fee, whereas the customers ended up paying not only the fees, but also the losses on a bet Goldman advised them to take. This affair became known as the Abacus deal. We discuss it in detail in Chapter 5. Was Abacus an isolated case? Not so, argues a former Goldman executive. He summed up his career advice.